Peace. Welcome back to the Voices of Reason show. I'm your host, Skilo Slim, and today we got a very special guest in the building. My brother came back and revisited us because I had a technical difficulty, so I definitely got to say that thank you for that, bro. I appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, man, so people can get to know you.
All right, I'm Carl Griffin. I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. I'm on a real estate team called MRG Realty Group that's led by Gary and Linda Carpenter.
Right on, right on. That's dope, man. So how did you get into that line, man?
Well, real estate, I just actually started trying to get into it apparently it was about 20 years ago almost. And so you have to take a certain amount of credit hours. So I went and took the credit hours, and then I just dropped the ball, and I didn't go and take the real estate exam.
Right.
And so this past year, I just basically went and studied for the exam and went and took the test and passed
knocked it out.
Yeah.
That's peace. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So what made you even be interested in that?
Well, there's just a lot of things you can do with real estate. I mean, I think originally it was just a career path that I was looking into. So I just kind of took that road. Now, as I'm into it and doing it more, I kind of see that there's just a lot that you can do as far as helping people out, whether they're trying to sell their house or buy a house. And it's important to me to try to make sure we educate ourselves and the people that we're around, and making sure that we can get people to own instead of being renters. I mean, there's always times where renting is the best situation for people, but I also believe people should consider trying to own the property and building that equity for themselves.
Definitely. Definitely. You said a key word right there, equity.
Yeah.
Like, could you break that down a little bit?
So we talked about equity, and
Definitely.
it's basically it's an important factor right now. It's so you're basically the difference between what your home is valued, or any asset you have. The difference between the value of the asset and what you owe on it is your equity. Okay. And so we last time we talked about it, we break it down in easy numbers. So say if you own a home and it's worth $100,000, and you put $20,000 down, then you basically got $20,000 in equity, because your home was worth $100 and now you owe $80.
Now you owe $80.
And so you put 20 down, but you didn't give it away. Okay, you built up some equity now, so you got that $20,000 that you have as an asset for yourself, and it continues to grow as you continue to pay down your mortgage every month. You're growing, you're building that equity, and if your home appreciates, which is the case at this point, there's always, the market depending on the market, but if your home value is increasing and you're paying down your mortgage, then you're building your equity. And so that 20,000 is turning into 21, 22, and over time it can be 50. It can be whatever, you pay your whole mortgage off, obviously you own the whole, the whole value of the home. It depends on what the home is worth on the actual market.
So that's like a credit thing, or like you could get like cash?
Well, it's more, it's not credit, because it's your asset. You own it. Okay. It's not necessarily cash, because you can't put it into your bank account. You've got to take certain steps to do it. So if you were to sell your home, then you could get it that way. You could take out a loan on your equity if you needed to do something like that. But there's avenues that you can take that you have to go through. So it's not that, hey, I got this 20 in equity, let me write a check for 15 for something I want. It's not quite that simple, but it is. It's a big factor. So if you're at that point in life, I think you should be thinking more about investments and building wealth. And so that's more what it's for, building your wealth, as opposed to having this cash fund. You know what I'm saying? So,
I want a new Chrysler.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take my equity and go buy a car or something. But no, so it's not quite that easy to access it. But it's not hard at all. But you go to the professionals for that. So we don't do that on our own.
Come and call you.
Yeah, you call me and we could lead you to in the right direction, most definitely. Yeah.
Right. So, okay, for like a first-time buyer, because I think last time we was talking, like that's like a big piece to me.
Yeah.
Like, what would be the first couple steps If I'm like, okay, I work out, you know, I've been working for 5 years or whatever, and I'm ready to buy a home.
Right. Well, I say again, tongue in cheek, first step would be to call me, and I'll lead you in that right direction. But reality, you want to talk to a mortgage lender. That would be my recommendation, because we want to talk to the professionals. We get a lot of opinions, and a lot of people know what they're talking about, but we also want to make sure we're getting the accurate information for our own individual situation. And so you talk to the mortgage lender, and then they will let you know. But what I think is the basic parameters, if you've worked for 2 years consistently, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the same job, but if you've been working for over 2 years straight and you have a credit score, let's say over 600, then you might be qualified to get a mortgage loan.
Okay.
So that's where you probably would start. You know, making sure your credit is on point.
Definitely.
And you're paying your bills on time, which is what you want to do. Because if you're buying a house, you need to be able to pay the mortgage.
Definitely.
Because it's a big investment. It's most people's biggest asset, and so you have to be serious at that point that you're ready to do this. I recommend it because we've all gotta have somewhere to live, and so a lot of us are paying rent, and we might be paying the same amount in rent that we could be paying for a mortgage that we're building our own equity. Whereas if we're paying rent, then we're paying it out, and you know the owner's paying his mortgage off of your rent payment, with your rent payment, and you know, like I said, owners need to make money too. So I'm not knocking people that are landlords, because that's something that's just part of the cycle.
Definitely.
Okay, but yeah, we definitely want to check with the mortgage lender and see where you stand is what I would recommend, because it's free to find out where you stand. You can call. I have people that I can lead you to in contact, and they will just give you the basic information of you're qualified or you're not qualified.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're not qualified, then you need to be taking these steps to get qualified, and then you know how serious you are about it. And so time goes fast, and so it might seem like 6 months is going to be forever from now, but you look up and that time it'll go by fast, and you've been doing what you need to do for 6 months, and now you're ready to start looking for a house or a home.
Definitely. Because that's like one of the biggest obstacles when I talk to people, and even myself included.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't know where to start.
Right.
Like literally, I don't know. It might sound bad, but like I literally didn't know what was the first thing. Like you said, like you could be different jobs as long as you've been continuously working.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I didn't do it because it's like I've been here for a year and a half. I've been here for 3 years, and I'm thinking like, okay, I need to be at my job for like
forever.
Yeah, like 10 years or something.
Right. And but that's just part of the education, and so that's why we're here. And hopefully we can let people know that you might be more qualified than you think. And so that's for the information I've gotten from a mortgage lender, from numerous mortgage lenders. It's 2 years. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the same job, but if you've had 10 jobs in 2 years, they might question your credit, what's the word I'm looking for, your viability. But at the same time, you've been working consistently for 2 years. Then I think what I'm saying is, if you have a job and you change jobs, that's not necessarily something that you need to wait 2 years. Okay. So that's what I mean by consistently. So I'm not saying anybody that's worked for 2 years is qualified to buy a house, because for one, I don't make those decisions. So you still want to talk to the mortgage lender. Right, talk to the professional. So I would say talk to the professionals. But I would recommend for anybody to find out where you stand if you're serious about it. Because even if you're not qualified, we need to know where we're at and where we're gonna, how can we get qualified, because we want to own this home, as opposed to, I know some people that are just scared to find out, scared to make that call, because they know their credit might not be, or sometimes they don't even know what their credit is. They just kind of assume that they're not qualified. And so I always use myself as an example, in that I didn't think I was qualified when I bought my home. So I basically gave them my information and said, run this information. Let me know what I need to do to get qualified, because I just automatically assumed I wouldn't be qualified. Right. And it came through, went back through and came back that I was qualified, and I started, found a realtor and started looking for a home. Right. Yeah. So some people, might know a realtor already, and then the realtor can direct you to mortgage lenders That if some people go to their bank and go to a mortgage lender at their bank and get qualified or pre-qualified, and then you start looking, and then when you find a house, then you go through the approval process. So they do verify your information. But the pre-qualification is just based on the information that you provide at the time you call, the mortgage lender, and they have to verify it once you find a home. But they can let you know pretty quickly if you're qualified or up to what amount. And so that's another thing that's important, is that they pre-qualify you and they tell you you're qualified up to this amount. And so that way the real estate agent knows what houses to look for, up to that amount. So if you're qualified up to 150, then we're not going to be looking for $200,000 houses. Okay, and so we need to know that before we start the process of looking for a house, so we don't start looking for houses that are above your budget, and then you fall in love with one, and then find out that you're not going to be qualified for that. And then that kind of hurts everybody, because the seller's trying to sell that house, and he's taking it off the market while your application is pending, or your offer is pending. Then come to find out you're not qualified up to that amount, and then we've got to put it back on the market. So that's why we say do that up front.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So in your role, what's your favorite part of what you do?
My favorite part? My favorite part is probably just dealing with the people. That's it for me. When you putting smiles on people's faces, I have to admit, it's how corny, but
no, I agree. I feel
it really
you.
does. When if you can help somebody sell the house, and because I'm an owner too, so we get letters or notes every week just about somebody, I'll buy your house. And so they're actually trying to cut you and get you the less than market value for that. They're trying to catch you in a distressed situation. And so if I can catch somebody that got an offer for $25,000 and I can help them sell it for $60,000, then that's good for me and good for them.
Right.
And same thing with if somebody's buying a house, because I've known that feeling of buying your first home and owning instead of renting, and now it's mine now, and so I want to be able to spread that joy to people that are, basically anybody that's ready for it.
Yeah. That's
what I like.
That is the cool part. That's what I like about doing stuff. Like when you help, like when you just genuinely help people. Right. And you see how excited they are for their moment. Exactly. It's like you get a kind of a piece of that.
You do.
So I like that a lot.
So I enjoy that.
Okay, let's double back for a second, because just in case anybody that would also want to be doing realty, what was the process like, the training or the school part? What was that like?
Well, for me, it was it's 60 credit hours that you need to qualify in Nebraska. I took 2 classes. One I took at school, so there's more than one school. I went to Randall School of Real Estate. Okay. And so I took the first class, it was in the evening, so I was working, and then in the evening I'd go and take the little classes, and then there's an exam for that class. Okay. And then the other class I took was a home study class, so you can do it whatever way works for you, and you kind of get your own amount of time that it takes you to read through the material, and then you have to go and test out of that class. So once you get those 60 hours, then you've got to go take the real estate exam, and qualify for that. Okay. So there's also a real estate exam prep class that you can take too, that'll kind of put all the current information in place for you, so you know what, out of all the information you've gathered and taken in your class, because there's 2 classes that you have to take, but there's more than 2 classes available. And so they put the classes into the real estate exam prep, and they kind of let you know what questions might be on the test. Really what questions are going to be on the test. They give you a good amount of information, and then you can go feel confident when you're taking that test.
Right. So do you have to already have like a GED or a high school graduate, or do you know?
I think you might need to have a high school diploma. I'm not really sure if that's a qualification, but I think it is. Okay. I think it might be. So don't quote me on that. But but I think that might be the minimum.
Yeah, because I see, like when I see like how real estate works, because you could sell, or like you could help me sell my house or buy a home.
Exactly.
So
that's what, yeah.
Okay, because like when I think about what you do, as far as people who might not know exactly where they're going or what they want to do,
Right.
but they're good at sales.
Yeah.
You know, because I know a lot of people like that, like they're good at sales. You
right.
know,
It is a sales. It's a sales business as far as being the real estate agent. You know,
Okay.
you gotta. So if anybody's good in sales, I recommend giving it a try if that's something you're passionate about. So with anything that I you know, my thoughts are if you're not passionate about what you're doing, then it's just a job.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, is it a good career path for somebody that needs a job? Yes. I mean, that's what got me thinking about it.
Right.
But that, like I said, that was a long time ago. So over that time, I've kind of learned some things about life itself, and I know that if you're not passionate about it, you can take the class and pass the test, but at the same time, you might not be happy doing it because it's just not something that's going to make you happy. So, but if if it's something you're passionate about, then I think you'll find a lot of joy out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
I think most people, I'm more of a positive person, so I'm thinking a lot of people could qualify if they studied and took the test.
Definitely.
I don't think it's that hard to do. You know, I've heard a lot of people fail it too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can go take it again. So it's not that it's like a one-time thing where you can try it, and if I fail it, oh man, I got to find something else to do in my life. No, you just take it again.
Right.
Because it is. I mean, I didn't think it was that hard because I did a lot of studying. So I did a lot of research on the real estate business. So I was just ready for it, and that I was confident taking it.
Right.
But I've known people that failed it too, and I've known people that failed it and then went back and took it and passed it the second time. So it's just a matter of the individual, but I definitely recommend it for anybody that is good at sales and good at dealing with people, and is not afraid to meet new people and talk.
Right. Yeah. Cause see, that's a skill in itself, man.
Yeah, it is.
I was telling a young brother that the other day, like, man, you don't know, a lot of people can't talk to people.
Right.
Like they'll be great workers, they good people.
Yeah.
When it's time to talk, like he can have all this information.
Right.
When it's time to talk to you, it's like.
You're right, and then sometimes the nerves kick in too, and it can be a skill that you can develop. Okay,
Right.
I'm still working on it. Okay,
Right.
so
Me too.
there's always things that we can learn and do better at. So I'm still working on having conversations with people of different backgrounds and different age groups, and so I feel like I can communicate pretty much with anybody from any background. But that's just me,
Right.
So everybody's not like that, but I think it's a skill that can be developed. I think any skill can be developed.
Yeah,
That's just
I agree with
how
that.
I look at it. If you put enough work into it, if it's something you really want to do, then I just don't put any limitations on what we can do.
Right, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best things. When after our interview last time that I thought about was like the fact of that, like you persevered through.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely, bro.
yeah. It was just something I decided I need to get back, because like I was saying, you want to be passionate about it, and that was one thing that I knew in life that I was passionate about at one time, and I just wanted to see, if I could just make something happen with it, and also be a positive influence in the community.
Right.
And being in this position, I felt like it might be a better way to be able to reach more people.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I definitely agree, because that's, like you said it, you hit the nail on the head for me, is to find what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of right out of high school, I spent a lot of those years doing like stuff that I thought,
Right.
looked good,
right. Stuff you think is what you need to be doing.
Right.
Or
Like
you're trying to
originally
find your
I
way.
studied accounting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I did
And
too.
I really don't like math.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I looked at it and I was like, okay, accountants make money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I'm gonna do it. Even though I didn't like math,
Yeah.
but I know that I can organize stuff, and if I studied, I could do it.
Exactly.
But then once I started, like I did the classes, I did all that, and then it was time to do an internship.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, it was the most miserable time of my life.
I can understand that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, I got to the point that I was like, man, I can't do this.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I had to tell my pops. I think he was kind of
He was a little
disappointed.
Right?
But it was like, man, I stopped that and I went and started working in the warehouses. You know what I'm saying?
So
because
now you're still not doing something you're passionate about.
Right. But it's like I like the atmosphere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of the young dudes I deal with, it's like even if it sound crazy, like if that's what you're passionate about, like pursue it.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. And I thought about accounting too, like out of high school. Same thing. You know, I knew I could do numbers, and I thought I would be good at it, but it just wasn't something. It was more something. You know, we're in high schools. A lot of times we're trying to pick and choose things that make the most money. What job makes good money, and that's what I'm gonna pursue.
Right. That's all I thought about.
Yeah, but I just wish for myself. Like I said, this is the path I've taken, so I'm not, having any regrets. But at the same time, who knows if I'd have had stuck with real estate from the beginning, where I'd be as far as real estate now. And that's with anything in life. And so it's hard to look back and you can't change it. But at the same, like I said, I went to try to do accounting, and it wasn't for me neither.
Yeah,
it wasn't for me. So we just, like I said, I've been working at a job for quite a few years now. But like I said, this is something I just feel like it's more where I need to be.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, because that makes all the difference. Like, I used to think it was so cliche when I was young. Yeah. Like, the older dudes would be like, yeah, man, if you love what you do, you never work.
See?
And I'm like, man, all these jobs suck. Like, what are you talking about?
Suck, right?
Yeah,
work, but I think there are, I think working, it's hard to wrap your head around that's ever going to be something good or fun, because it's work, There's work and there's play. But at the same time, I think you can love your job and love what you do, even though you might not love every minute of the work, but you love the concept of what you're doing and, what you're bringing to the table. And then you go home at the end of the day and you've worked, but at the same time, you know that there's something else the next day that can get you excited and get you ready to wake up and feel good about what you're going to do that day.
Right.
And that's different than going through life and just wishing that you could get through the day.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So is there anything else that you would want people to know? Like about, being prepared to buy a home or?
Well, nothing I can think of, just that, I just want to stress that you might be more qualified than you think, and find out is all I would say is find out, call me, and I'll direct you in the right direction. If you have other realtors that I would reach out to them. If you want to go to your bank and talk to the mortgage lender, that'd be an idea too. But you can always get more than one opinion, and so I just want to make sure people know that they can find out where they stand for free, and then if you're ready to own a home, then you're ready to make that move. And if you're not, then if it's something you're passionate about or something you really want to do, then you know the steps that you need to take to get there. And that's what's important. And if you're selling the home, then I recommend, definitely trying to put it on the market and making sure you're getting the market value for the home. I mean, a lot of people don't want to deal with realtors when they're selling because they don't want to pay the commission. But what I found out is, once you determine the amount you want to make off the sale of your home, then the realtor's job is to make sure you get that amount. And if the realtor's getting a commission, then that's on top of that amount, okay? Right. So you're not paying the realtor out unless the deal closes. And so if you put your house on the market and you're not getting the value that you think is worth, then you're not obligated to sell the home, okay? But I think there's a lot of value in having a realtor put your home on the market and make sure you're getting the top dollar for it. And so I think there's a lot of value in that.
Right, right. So in your opinion, how is the market in Omaha for buying right now?
For buying,
or selling,
what I've seen is it just depends on the home and the value and what you list it for. I think if you ask people now, they probably would say it's a seller's market, because there's not the inventory. I guess we need more inventory, more homes available. So I've heard stories, people put a house on the market and it sold in 3 hours. I've heard put a house on the market and sold in 1 day.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of houses, a lot of homes on the market, and there's homes been on the market for 30 days. Some been on the market for 45 days. So it's hard to say the reason behind each one, but each one is different. So if I had to say, I'd say it's a seller's market. If you put the house on the market and price it right, it'll sell fast. Right. That means it's a seller's market because they have more, they can kind of pick and choose between the buyers, where the buyers end up having to bid on a house because there's 3 people interested in the same house because of the inventory of the one, of what they're looking for not being available. So in that sense, it's a seller's market. Yeah. But buyers, you've got to kind of be picky and choosy, and so I think you can find a home, but you also want to make sure you find the right home because you want to be happy with your investment. Yeah, and definitely. So I think there's homes enough available for the buyers, but at the same time, you don't want to rush into it either. Right, because that's a big thing. You get into something that's too big for you. Yeah. Or as far as like the investment, like I wanted an older home. Right. You know. And then it's like once you get into an older home, it's like the things that come with an older home, you start thinking about that. That stuff you got to work on. Yeah, like, oh man, like the life of a pipe is like 100 years. So right. Your house is 100 years old. Yeah, you might need some new pipes. Yeah, right? Man. Good thing about that is you own the home. You own the home and you can take your time and do what fix it up the way you want it. I mean, you can make all kind of changes to the home if you choose to because now it's yours and you own it. And as you're building up that equity, you can you possibly could take out loans to fix the things in your house that you need to get fixed. There's home warranties to where things that might go wrong, where you're paying a deductible as opposed to coming out thousands of dollars to get your AC fixed if it goes bad. Then you pay a $100 deductible instead of $3,000 for a new AC. Right. Okay. So those are things available if you have a home warranty, and so there's just a lot of things that are available to people. So I want to make sure that as best as we can, we're educating the community and making sure people know that there's options out there for people that are renting homes. If you want to be an owner, it's something that you can definitely do. Definitely, man. Definitely. That's exactly what I wanted to leave with. Yeah. Because if we come to the part where you give your people your information, don't be shy about it. Like, all right. So give me a call at 402-415-1333. You can call or text me, and we can just get started on the conversation and kind of go from there. No obligation. You can email me at carl@mrgomaha.com, and that'll be the way to contact me. And I'd love to hear from you, and hopefully we can get together and get connected. Right on, that's peace, bro. Right. I want to say, man, I really appreciate you coming through again, man. I appreciate you having me. Definitely, man. So, hey, like we said, make sure that you know what's going on, get all the information that you can have, and it's a great way to, it's a great way to build up something for your future generations. Right. Like that's what we all about right now. That's the mood with the culture. We talking about generational wealth. That's we talking about doing better than what we came in the world with. So this is a great way to start. That's right. Hit my brother up. He's a good dude, and find out about your options and just see if you're ready, if that's something that you want to do. That's right. So with that, I'm gonna say peace, and we'll see y'all next time. All right. Thank you.